Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 90th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Conan, one of the co-founders of the Brotherhood, all the way back in January 2005. And then we have Brotherhood member Cormac, who has bought the Rome Julii faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought yet another experimental Carthage army here. I've messed around with their upgrades. I've put different upgrades on different units just to see how well this will perform. As you can see, we've got a really experienced team here, and it should be a great battle to watch. But you wait till you see the other team, great players too. At this early stage of the battle, I thought I might just show you my experimental Carthage army here. As you can see, it's 15 pikes with varying upgrades on them. They're pretty tough, the Carthage Sacred Band, and if you put good upgrades on them as well, they're really good against other pike factions there. So as I say, this is an experimental army with kind of an experimental formation, just to see how well it does against good players in command of pike factions. And here you see I've got my Balearic Slingers. These guys have got long range and do a lot of damage as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this experimental army does against good enemy pike generals. And here is that other team. We have Brotherhood member Gladius, who has bought the Greek Cities faction. Then we have Heaven Clans member Mohammed, who has bought the Macedon faction. And then we have Wolves Parker, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. So I'm sure you'd agree with me there. There's three really great players, and it should be very interesting to see how their pike units do against my experimental pike army. Should be a great battle to watch, and I'm really looking forward to this one. At this very early stage of the battle, I just thought I'd show you the general battlefield disposition of all the armies here. As you can see, the enemy team has formed kind of like, if you like, a massive defense formation there. As you can see, I think experienced players looking at this mass formation will probably see that they're probably not going to attack. The way that they're formed up, they're ready for us to hit them, so it's up to us to make the first move here. As you can see, Cormac is doing a wide right flanking action there. As you can see, my army is pretty central on the battlefield, and Conan's doing a wide flanking left movement. So both my allies are moving off to the flanks, and I'm in the centre there. As you can see, Conan's using the old school Roman cavalry general there. You see, you don't see many people bring cav generals these days, but 7, 8, 9 years ago, bringing cav generals was a norm for Roman army. But it's nice to see a bit of old school there. And also that cavalry unit's a pretty hardy unit. Takes a lot to kill any of them. At this early stage of the battle, you can see that I'm advancing towards the Macedon faction with my Carthage army there. And you can see that Conan has really done a wide flanking movement to the left. Actually, you could say he's actually getting behind the enemy team there. And as you can see, Cormac is out on the wide right flank there as well. You can see that the Greek Cities team has turned inwards to face the danger, and you can see that the enemy Scipii army has formed inwards as well to face the danger. So players watching this, experienced players watching this, will see that the defense formation of the enemy team is good, but they have to react to us because they're kind of just, if you like, being dormant. They're standing there reacting to our movements. So you know, sometimes attacking is the best thing to do because the enemy has to respond to you. Now here's an interesting little movement here by the Macedon general. New players watching this, I'm just going to pause the game a minute. Can you see that Macedon general's pulled his pikemen back? Now what he'd like me to do, he'd like me to move my Carthage army forward to engage his pikemen. But if you notice, there's Greek cities on my right, and there's lots of Scipii infantry over on the left. So if I advanced into that little trap there, the Greek cities would then attack me on my flank. The Scipii infantry, Roman infantry, would pile me and probably move units round to my left flank as well. So if I moved to attack that Macedon army now, that would be just what he would want me to do, because I could be attacked on 3 sides, the front and the 2 flanks. So that's a nice little move there by the Macedon General, but I don't think I'm going to fall for that one. But new players watching this, you know, that's a nice little tactic. They're trying to draw me into a trap. But as I say, I'm not going to fall for that one. But if you notice that the Greek city's units there now is exposed his flank, and my slingers are now shooting loads of slingshots into the flank of that Spartan unit there, making them pull back. And if you notice that the enemy Scipii infantry have moved further to the rear now to face the threat of Conan's army behind us. So now the Macedon army is kind of almost there for me to hit now without much of a threat to myself on my flanks. If you notice, the Macedon General now is bringing cavalry units round. My guess is he's going to attack my slingers, and there you go, you can see that those 2 units are going to attack my slingers. I've got no cavalry in my army there, so I'm just going to have to let the slingers deal with that situation, and probably most of them will be killed. But I'm going to move forward now, and I've decided that I'm going to be aggressive in this battle, and I'm going to attack the Macedon army with my Carthage units here. As you can see, I'm moving them forward now into the forward ranks of the Macedon pikemen there. As a lot of you know, the Macedon pikemen have got very long pikes, so my Carthage Sacred Band have actually fight their way down those long pikes to actually get to the infantry on the other end to kill them. So you can see there, I'm pushing my my Sacred Band forward into the Macedon ranks there, and as you can see, it's a very slow movement, but it's kind of like I always think it's like a steamroller action. It's very, very slow, but they kind of manage to push over anything that's in front of them there. As you can see, the Macedon rank there is starting to buckle under the weight of the Sacred Band pushing through. And if you notice, I'm starting to advance on all along my front there. If you notice, there was a Macedon pike unit brought in to try and flank me there, but I've counter-attacked that with 2 of my Sacred Band units there. Meanwhile, at the rear, you can see that Cormac is doing a rear attack there, coming around the rear. Conan's a little bit, maybe a little bit isolated here over on the left, but with Cormac coming over, I shouldn't think there'd be much of a problem there, providing the enemy doesn't attack maybe too fast on the Conan's infantry. But looking at his formation, I would think he'd be able to hold even if they do hit him. But Cormac's coming over fast. Hopefully he might even hit the enemy Scipii army in the rear or the flank there with his infantry units. As you can see, the enemy Greek city's army is bringing some units over as well, and there you see Cormac's Julii infantry now hitting the back and the flank of the enemy Scipii infantry there. That's a nice little move by Cormac there. And knowing Conan and the strategy that he thinks of here, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd already thought of that, to draw that Scipii army over to him, allowing Cormac to get round the rear and attack them. That was a nice little move by Cormac and Conan there. Meanwhile, back over here in the pike battle, you can see that I'm facing some Greek city units as well as some Macedon units. Now the danger for me is that, can you see there's some Macedon cavalry out there, and these cavalry have got very good upgrades on.
Your allies are leaderless. Their general
Of course, what I'm worried about now is they're going to smash into my engaged pikemen here. Can you see them coming round? And here they come now. This is a problem. Without cavalry from my army, I'm exposed to these cavalry hits in the rear of my fighting pikemen. You see, I ran my general forward there to try and blunt that cavalry attack, and in fact what I've done is I've lost my general there, which was a very bad move by me, because if you notice, my generals died, and now a lot of my Carthage units are starting to rout under that mass cavalry attack. So that was a nice little cavalry attack there by Macedon, and it caused a lot of casualties there. A lot of my units have routed from that. So bringing an all-pike army with no cavalry is okay under some circumstances, but in other circumstances, as you could see there, I could have done with some cavalry to actually counter that Macedon cavalry. So that was a pretty good move by the Macedon general there with his cavalry, but I've still got some units left. and I just have to make sure that they don't charge in behind me. If you've noticed, I'm going to turn one of my Sacred Band units out to the rear of my engaged fighting units there to face any, if that cavalry wants to charge in again, then I'll have to go through that cavalry unit. I've just paused the game here so we can take stock of the situation on the whole battlefield. As you can see, my Sacred Band were quite a lot weakened by that cavalry hit. A lot of my units routed there, and it doesn't look very good for me in that position. Over here on the left flank, you can see that Conan's doing quite good there, bearing in mind he was surrounded by a lot of that Scipii army, and a lot of enemy cavalry coming in on him. He's done very well there. He's got several battle damage units left, so he's done well. As you can see, Cormac here is fighting the Greek cities head on. So this is by no means in the bag for either team. As you can see, it's a real tussle. It's a real toss-up to see who's going to win this. Looking at my experimental Carthage army, I'm a little bit worried that that's going to be killed off pretty soon, and unfortunately that'll just leave Conan and Cormac to face the entire enemy army. So I just hope that I can take as many enemy down with me as I can before my army is wiped out. You can see that the Macedon archers are firing fire arrows into the back of my Carthage Sacred Band there, lowering their morale. And as you can see, there's some Greek city units moving in behind me, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Macedon cavalry charged in now at any time. As soon as that Greek city's pikemen start to engage that unit I put at the rear to try and counter cavalry attack, and there you can see the Macedon cavalry coming in now, and bang, as they hit home. Now I've managed to turn a couple of my Carthage units to face them, so a lot of that Macedon cavalry are going to be killed, but the shock and the charge bonus that cavalry's got there, can you see how many of my Carthage units are starting to rout? So to be honest now, looking at my army, well, my Carthage army is pretty well spent now. That cavalry charge just finished the last of them off now, so basically it's just Cormac and Conan now to face the enemy armies. As you can see, there's a heck of a lot of the Greek cities left, especially Spartans. So both teams are reforming now, as you can see. Just going to pause the game here for us to have a look at the general situation. As you can see, there's Cormac and Conan's Julii infantry there. A lot of battle damaged units there, to be honest with you. And you can see that there's a lot of Macedon archers, some Macedon pike units, and a lot of Greek city units, mostly Spartans left. So this is still really on a knife edge, really, although you would think that the Spartans, with their 2 hit points and being such great troops, should be able to win the day here. If you notice, I've still got some Balearic slingers left. And if you notice that the Macedon general is still alive, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to target that Macedon general from behind with my slingers there to try and kill him if I can, to lower the morale of what's left of the Macedon units.
Now we will see the measure of his soldiers' courage.
So there you can see now the general position on the battlefield is both teams have reformed, and both teams are facing each other for the final showdown, and it's going to be so close I wouldn't like to call which way this is going to go. As you can see here, the last of Conan's archers, they've just been routed there by some Macedon cavalry and some Scipii cavalry there. So that's the situation. It'll be interesting to see who attacks first here. If, experienced players watching this game, which way do you think it's going to go? It really is on a knife edge, isn't it? Okay, at the final stage of the battle, you can see that the Greek cities have attacked. And if you notice that Conan, rather than face them head on, is moving his troops back. Because with all of his experience, he knows that actually putting Roman troops head on against any pike units is really, it's not really the best tactic if you can get round their side or the rear of those pike units there. So it'll be interesting to see both Conan and Cormac's tactics here against all these pikes. There you go. Now Conan's put a couple of units, if you notice, 2 of his Roman units onto 1 of the Greek cities units here on this flank, trying to give himself the numbers advantage there. But what he would really like to do is try and break those Greek city units so he could take his infantry round behind the engaged fighting pike units there, because those of you that's watched other battle videos of mine will know that the weakest point of pike units are their flank or their rear, and especially if they're engaged. If you can actually get infantry or cavalry in behind them, there's a good chance that you will rout them. So my guess is this is what Conan and Cormac would like to do, is get infantry units in behind those engaged pike units there. As you can see, there's a couple of Scipii, very battle damaged Scipii units fighting as well. And there you can see the Macedon pikemen still there. But the main danger from what I can see at the moment are those Greek cities, those Spartans with their 2 hit points. They're the ones that are going to be very difficult for the Roman infantry to kill, I think. As you can see, this game is really, really in the balance at the moment. I think if either Conan or Cormac can just get some infantry behind those engaged fighting pike units, they could well have a chance here. But I can see some of our Julii infantry starting to rout already. So, and I just saw a couple of the enemy Scipii infantry. Now, can you see? There's a couple of Julii infantry units been taken up round the rear of the enemy pike force. Now that's a nice little move there by Conan. He's going to pick his target and then charge in with those units. He may well choose the Macedon pike units to hit because he knows that their morale will be very low. The Greek cities' morale is excellent. The Spartans' morale is excellent, but the Macedon pikemen's morale is not very good. So bearing in mind they're being attacked at the front and the rear, it wouldn't surprise me if that pike unit started to rout. As you can see, the Greek cities' units here are still attacking here. If you notice that the Macedon general, seeing the danger of being attacked from the rear and front, is trying to move that unit out. But it wouldn't surprise me if moving it like that might cause it to rout. It'd be interesting to see. Yes, and that unit moving kind of disrupts the unit, and it causes them to get suffer even more casualties, and then they routed then. But as you can see, there's still a lot of Greek cities. Right, can you see the Greek cities general has just routed there? So my guess is now that it looks like our team seems to have managed to turn this battle around. I must say, after my experimental Carthage army was taken out, okay, I know I took a lot of the Macedon pikemen out with it, but after my army was taken out, I thought, whoa, you know, this is going to be really really close, even if we have a chance here. But seeing all those Spartans, I just, to be honest with you, and I bet a lot of you watching this thought, well, against all those Spartans you haven't got a lot of chance. I'd just like to say, really well played to the other team there. There was lots of great moves, like lots of great cavalry charges, and some really great teamwork there. Really well played the other team, and really well played to Conan and Cormac too. Some really good tactical battlefield awareness going on there by both of them, and I think they showed all their years of experience on Rome Total War. I'm pretty sure between the two of them, there's probably something like I don't know, 18 or 20 years of RTW experience between the two of them, and I think it all showed on the battlefield there on how well they played. So really well played to those two. And once again, just like to say, really well played to the other team as well. I didn't think my experimental Carthage army did too bad. Okay, it was all taken out, but they took a lot of the enemy down with them as well. So it wasn't too much of a disappointment. Hope you enjoyed the battle. This is Spartan Commander saying bye for now. See you soon.